Hi and welcome guys, and as promised in the last video when we were done with the engine bay of the Scirocco, we're now moving over to the bodywork on the chassis and the big parts. And what you're going to expect in this video is going to be a little bit shortly here.
The whole thing is now coming off.
And of course we're going to go through the tools that I use, sandpapers, Bondo, and a little bit of the process of the whole thing. So coming to this state and being ready for paint. But we're going to jump in right in here and attack the body. So welcome to today's video.
Jumping into the sanding booth, because now we're gonna start off with the chassis of the car. We have a lot of old red paint on this one, so I think it's 1K lacquer paint. I hope it's not gonna smidge off on the sandpapers. That's my biggest issue. And then we have the biggest fear is that this is all fiberglass work, and the wide body, I think they have screwed it on, so these markings that I have all over the place are holes that you can see through the paint. It's really hard to film, but we're gonna start digging in to see if we have a lot of corrosion behind these spots. In that case, I think they have drilled through the steel and then just covered it with Bondo, and that's no bueno, because that's going to be a lot of rust on the metal. And I think on the other side, Robin has already started grinding down some of the spots and shit. Yeah, okay, my theory was correct. They have drilled right through, or they have used 100% screws to add on the kit onto the side, and then they have used fiberglass and resin, and then they have taken away the bolts or the screws and then just put Bondo over. As you can see the yearage rings here, but the dumb thing here is that we have bubbles all the way on the side, and we don't want that to come up later on when Matthias is enjoying the car, like in 5-10 years, because that's surely is gonna happen. So I think me and Robin, we're gonna grind away and find the spots. But for the usual thing that you do, so if you have an old car, take a 120 grit or a 230 grit, start sanding the whole car down with a block on an old car. And I'm using big kit blocks, sanding blocks, so I'm gonna block down with a really rough grid the whole car, so I can see the unevenness on the panels all over, especially the roof, because that's uneven as, yeah, I don't know what. So we're gonna start the process of grinding down and finding all the problems. So my energy level went down to 0. The guys in the 80s, they loved to screw on the fiberglass parts and then just put resin and fiberglass over it and then unscrew the bolts. And what happens then in the car behind the metal is that it rusts as, yeah, you have a lot of condensation. And I just took my knife and I sanded this down because we had so much rust and corrosion there. But the whole thing is now coming off the rear of this car. So what I think happened here is that they didn't get a bonding between the fiberglass and the metal, and with all these holes you get condensation and you get air and you get moisture, and all this came off. I have 1 week to fix this. I need to have this chassis in the paint booth within 5 days. I know this is not how to do it, but what we're gonna do now, because I'm 100% sure that the fenders have a good bounding points all the way around here. So I'm gonna sand off all this. I'm gonna prep the metal so it won't corrode again. And we are gonna weld all these holes shut. So that's gonna be nice. And we're gonna prep this area, put some resin and fiberglass on up over the C-pillar, and then we're gonna grind down everything and prep it for paint. Don't put a lot in the comment section below that I shouldn't do this and yada yada. I know for sure. If it would have been a customer car, I would never do this. And I talked with Matthias, the owner of the car. He has agreed to do it this way, and then it's fine, okay? So I'm gonna try to help you out with how I'm gonna fix this, and you're gonna follow the process. I'm sorry guys that the energy level is really low right now. Yeah, but let's fix this car. We're at the next stage. So Matthias is now using the TIG because we want to have a really super low ampage, because this is so thin. If we would have tried with the MIG welder, we would most certainly just burn through and put some more damage on it.
And safety precaution in here.
And safety precaution, because in here we have a lot of Bondo and fiberglass, and the floor is with a lot of dust, and most surely it would be on fire within a couple of seconds. With the TIG, we can control the
it's splatter free, if we would say.
It's splatter free. It doesn't splatter. I think you're just heating it up like 10 amps or something.
25 now.
25 amps.
Yeah.
That's quite high then.
Yeah, but I tried it on 15 and I had to burn it for quite a while, so I don't want to work the.
Okay. And
quick with higher amps.
something that I don't know if you know, but with doing this like this, you're actually making the metal a lot stronger. So, because I was really shocked now that this was so stiff. Before, I could really push it in like that. I could do the same here, or this is a bigger piece, so this was so much looser. And sometimes when you fix back fenders and stuff like that, and you grind down and you weld, you stretch the metal, and just by heating it up with a torch in small positions, you can make this really stable and rigid, because it shrinks. We don't want warpage, but we want to shrink it. So Matthias is going to do this on this side, on the other side, and then I'm going to prep with epoxy primer. I'm going to let that cure under the IR lamp that I have. And then I'm going to prep the next steps, and that's with fiberglass. And we're going to let this cure through the night. And I think the clock is already 11 or something. So it's as...
I don't even want to
No,
know.
it's as usual. We need to be at work in the morning, but what the heck, right? So it's the day after, and the fiberglass has cured, and this is the result of that. So what I usually do, it's very uneven now, and it's some of the places are far away out from the OEM plane. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take my grinder with the flap disc. I'm gonna gently touch this off. I'm gonna block it off so I get it as straight as possible. You don't want to go through the fiberglass, then you're done. You have to redo it. And then we're gonna move over to the Bondo. The Bondo I use is called Carbon Fiber Light. So it's from Hagmans. I love the Filtech Carbon Fiber Soft Bondo. It looks like this. And why I love it is because if you use this, it's not like fiberglass Bondo, because that usually cracks when you have movement. And these over fenders are super thin. So I use the carbon fiber Bondo because that flexes, it moves, it doesn't crack. And especially you guys in the hot countries, this would be a perfect Bondo for you. It follows the heat and the sun on the outside. So what I did, as I said, I sanded it down, wax and grease remover, blew it off with a lot of air so you don't get any wax and grease remover in the pockets and the pores. And this is how it looks after I've been putting on the Bondo. And now I'm waiting for it to cure, and I can use a block sand from Big Hit Blocks. So I think I'm gonna go in, not with the big one, I'm gonna go in with the small one. First get it straight, and then I'm gonna use my half moon block to take the curvature and the radius in this section. It's a lot of radius that I have to redesign again, or not reconstruct again. I was sanding down the fenders a little bit further onto in front of the door, and I found out that this is just Bondo, this is not fiberglass. So they just put in, and I have a big crack here, and I have a big crack here, and I have a crack here, and the whole way here. So what I'm gonna do next, unfortunately, I'm gonna flap all this down with my flap disc on my grinder, and I have to do exactly the same thing here. I'm gonna put resin and fiberglass to reinforce it and start all over on the fender again.
And now me and Robin were started blocking down the car. So we're using Adora sandpaper, and we're starting off with the 120 grit. But make sure you want to take all those scratches away. So you have to use the 220 grit and then going up to a 320 to finish off to be able to lay down the primer. And now I'm moving over to glazing the roof. It was a little bit uneven. And make sure that you sand before you put any Bondo or glaze on. And a recommendation is a 220 grit to make the Bondo stick to the panel.
Okay guys, I have cleaned up as good as I could. So air pressure and then wax and grease remover like twice. And now I blew it off once again, and just feeling if I get dust on my hands or not. So now I'm gonna shoot the roof, some inner pieces, because I thought why not, so I get double the amount. It's corrosion protecting, so it's better to have a little bit more than usual. So I'm gonna shoot this with three layers, and you have 20 minutes in between. I have around about 25 degrees in here, but now it's finally the time to put some primer on the roof. So yet again in the sanding booth, and the last layer of primer put on last night, dried during the night, and now we're blocking it down. It's not science, but I would want to show you how we're doing it. So we're starting off with the 320 grit, and all the flat big surfaces we're blocking down with blocks. All these small ones we're gonna save for later with the machine and do it with 500 grit. But this is currently how the puppies looks. She's up on the lift, and all this is already blocked down. And I use different blocks. This is a flat block from Adora, and then I have my half moon. I love this one. It's flexible and it moves, and you can form it to the formation that you need to. And as you can see here, this is not sanded, and this is not sanded. So the black part, that's the primer when it's not blocked out. And when I have my 320 grit and I sand it down like this, this is not done yet. As you can see, this is what you call orange peel. You want all this to be as white as this, or grayish. If you miss surfaces like this, this is going to show through with your first base and then through the clear coat. So what you want to do is go down fully, and then you know it's straight, and you're going to have a good looking panel. This is close enough, and now I'm going to go over with the machine with a 500 grit or with my soft pad paper that I can have in my hand. Because if I'm going to go with my machine here or over sharp edges, I'm going to burn through. You really never want to burn through, because when you put down the base, you're going to have to put down a lot of base in the areas when you burn through. Because my first section of primer was white, or if you have a car, for instance, that you put primer on and it's blue underneath and you sand through, that's going to be hurtful when you put down the base. When we're done with the car then later on, sanding it down, finishing off with a 5 or an 800 grit, we're going to blow it off as good as we can, clean it off, put it out in the workshop, and we're going to mask it off, clean it off again, roll it in the paint booth, clean it yet again, and then finally I'm gonna go into the paint booth, and tomorrow morning we're gonna fly to Thailand and have a really good vacation. I've been stuck with this chassis for 8 long days, and I'm not super happy yet. I think the result's gonna be amazing. But just to show you the papers I use the Aldora Premium Sanding Stripes. But this is the 280 to 360, so the C1. So they look like this. That's for a long block, and you can cut them off so you have a smaller one. And when I'm talking about the soft block or the soft sanding papers, I mean these. They come in rolls, and they are soft, so they are easy to reach very hard fractions of the car, or in cavities and stuff like that. We're gonna keep on working, and hopefully I will be finished with the paint tomorrow morning, or hopefully tonight at 3ish or something, but I don't think so. So guys, finally in the paint booth. It's been 8 tough days. It's been a struggle because of the cracks and everything in the fiberglass, but I'm gonna try to collect myself and paint. So, but what we're doing now, we're using these towel cloths, and I already blew off the car like 3 times. I had a tack rag, so a sticky cloth, and now I'm using wax and grease remover over the whole car, and we're 2 people doing it just for insurance. So I'm doing it first, and Robin is going over again, and then yet again I'm gonna blow it off. I'm just telling you, the more you clean, the better result you're gonna get, and you don't have to fix it afterwards, like buff and polish and everything. So wax and grease remover, take it over the panel. Not too big panel, like a small one, so half of the roof and the next half of the roof. Don't take too big. You can get fish eyes, you can get silicone. Yeah, gonna prepare my paint gun, mix up the color, and then away we go.
think it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I started painting this 11:30 yesterday. But I'm sorry, it's swearing. I'm super happy with the results. These Standox 9600 is amazing to lay. Super easy clear coat to lay. This is 3 coats. It's a show car, so it's a little bit more. So I look like a monk. But the clear coat, I'm in love with it. And the brilliant blue with a little bit of a twist of Magas design. Wow, this car is gonna look sick when it's together. Hard work pays off with blocking all these panels. They are super straight and shiny. That's the important thing. And the roof, and you remember the back fenders that were a catastrophe. They are complete, and I love this candy-ish paint. Wow! I think it's time to end the video. I really hope you like the end result and the complete video with all the information in it. So please hit the like and subscribe button. And as I always say, have a good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever you are. Bye bye. Hej då!